In this video, I'm going to show a workflow that might get you better results when using Framebatch. Framebatch works by randomly selecting images that are in a folder, and sometimes the images at the bottom of a folder don't really match the images at the top. And so something we can do to help get better results on the back end is to kind of segment our shoots or our images and pre-group them. And then when we run our Framebatch, it will only pull from those selected images. So this might be a little bit easier to visualize if I give you a real world example. So I have a wedding gallery here, and my workflow is that I will deliver kind of sorted albums within the full wedding album. So if the bride and groom want to just look at their portraits, they can do that. They just want to look at the ceremony, family formals, getting ready. This just helps them to go, I want to look at this specific image. They don't have to click a huge folder and then scroll all the way down, find it. So this actually really helps me when I move over to Framebatch, because let's say I just want to make layouts from the reception. We can do that. I just want to make layouts from the ceremony. I can do that. I just want to make layouts from the bride and groom portraits. Guess what? We can do that too. So let me kind of show you with this new PSD template that I've made. It's kind of a mock layout of basically Polaroids on a textured background. And this is kind of an example of a custom template that you can make yourself. So let's go ahead and select reception here. I've got these preloaded. So let me just name this reception, and then we can hit batch frames. And you can see kind of the layouts here that we've got to work with. And I'm going to work pretty quickly here just so you can get a full effect of, like, if you're not having to explain it yourself, how quickly you could probably get these going. So I'm going to hit OK there. So now we've got reception photos. Let's go back. Let's select the bride and groom portraits and call this bride and groom, and hit batch frames there. That's going to open a new one, and it's going to throw those images into the same layouts. And that should take about 15 seconds as well. And now that we've done that, I'm going to go back here and we're going to hit ceremony, call this ceremony, and run it one more time. And so this has 15 different artboards, and you can see we just did 45 layouts in, let's say, a little over a minute and a half. And so now we would go through and we would tweak these, right? So something I'm working on is getting it to auto rotate the images, but if you want it to look a little bit more authentic, you're probably going to have to go in, select these, and rotate them as well. And something I would do is probably zoom in on them. I think that actually works, because if they're centered on the actual image, it would cut them off. Let's see. This one, rotate just a little bit. I'm not going to go too in depth on editing these, because I think you guys kind of get the picture. That's more personal preference. Let's just take a look. So it does look like we've got a repeating image here, which might mean that we didn't have a ton in that folder to work with. So let me just adjust some of these. I think these are fine. So if you wanted to kind of pick and choose from this layout, say I didn't want to make 3 full posts, right? I would then take, maybe 5 from each, 5 that I think are the best, and I would put that into a new Photoshop window. And this is actually a little bit easier than you would think. So let's bring all of these together. So I'm just closing these to make it a little bit easier to select the ones we want. So let's say I'm just going to select random ones. So I'm going to select 5 random ones. So let's do this. So I just held Command and I clicked these one at a time. Probably going to end up selecting different ones. So then we hit V on our keyboard, and that lets us move these. So you're going to select, drag, hover over, and then hover into the space and drop. And now obviously, because we just randomly selected these, they're going to be completely different. This might run a lot slower on your computer than you're seeing here, but don't freak out. So then let's go actually since we put that in the bride and groom, let's go back to the reception one, and we will select a similar number. Let's just take the top 5 here, actually. And so we'll drag that up, over, and this is going to bug my OCD because it's not going to be in the right, it's not going to be in a grid format. But then we can quickly minimize these. And another easy way to select it would be to use the artboard tool. And you can actually, yes, you can click, hold Command, click, and that will put you in the actual artboard. So say we don't want 3, so we'll delete 3, don't like 4, don't like 5. I like 6, but don't like 7, don't like 8. And we're going for 5 here. So if we got 1, 2, 3, I kind of like 9 and 10. So let's keep those and we'll delete these. And you can save yourself a little bit of time pre-import if you wanted to label it there. So then another workflow that you would do is you could either organize these here, or you could export them and then rename them to get them in the right order. So let's do just a very quick grid of this. So we'll select this. We can double click to rename that 3. We'll rename this one 4, and we can move that over. And you could see how you would build this out, right? So you would do maybe this one is your 5th one, this one's your 6th, and you would just kind of build how it would look in your carousel. And then whenever you're ready, you would export, file, export as, and we want all these to be JPEGs. So then we hit export desktop. I'll just throw this in our demo, and then it's done. So if we go back to demo, and obviously we've got some of these from our previous video that we can just delete. And now if we go through, we've got all these layouts done, and they're not using completely unrelated images per slide. So hopefully that's helpful to your workflow. If you have any questions, drop it below or email us at support.